Hello, folks. Well, it's no secret that Western nations have a problem. A very, very big problem. Now, as a Christian and a creationist, I do not subscribe to Darwin's theory of evolution. However, in this case, I will borrow his terminology and say the survival of the fittest. Now, in Western nations, who is the fittest? Who will survive? Currently, I think neither party is fit to survive. And we'll get to that in a moment. First of all, we have the conservatives, the people who have been conditioned to live within the status quo, to follow the laws set forth, assume that justice will always prevail. They assume that we have overcome the ills of the world and life. We are enjoying our legacy of freedom. Freedom is our birthright, and we will just continue to enjoy that infinitum without any effort on our part, because our ancestors did it all for us. Well, that is a terrible misconception, and I think we should all have known better. But everyone is too busy doing their own thing and not being concerned about the problems that are looming. So, the conservatives have now got themselves into a box, into a place where they just really do not know how to survive outside of the social government system. The left has coached them into dependency. Everyone's depending on the systems, all the systems, and nobody has maintained a free, a self-reliant, a pioneer spirit, which is what is needed to keep your country free and independent and self-reliant. With everyone becoming dependent on the government, then dependency is sort of the overall status quo, and it's a rut, and nobody quite knows how to get themselves out of it. We're still struggling with that. So you have on one side the dependent conservatives lulled into the peace of mundane life, and they can't break out of it. They can barely resist the left because they have always assumed that their fellow Americans or their fellow Britons or their fellow Australians or fellow Europeans were good, honest, wonderful people who just had the best interests of everyone at heart. The conservatives are naive to a fault. They believe the best in everyone, to the point where they're letting insane things go on. So the conservatives, basically, they're not fit. They're basically saying, what time do I show up at the gulag? They're so polite, it's impossible. So, I'm sorry, conservatives, right now, in this current form, you're not fit for survival. All right, now to the left. So how's the left doing for survival? The left is very passionate, they are very bold, they are very determined, they back up their passion with action, and swift action, strong action. So on the surface, that looks good. It looks like they might indeed be the fittest. However, if you look a little bit below the surface, they advocate for insanity. They're hypocritical. They're a mass of contradictions. The cities they run are full of poverty, homelessness, crime, and they cannot deal with these real-world issues. They just double down, make things worse, and sweep it under the rug. They just ignore it. That's how they deal with real-world problems. So, these leftists, they need an app on their phone to tell them when to eat dinner or something. They're not going to be able to survive in a real-world survival situation because they, too, are dependent. They are louder and more determined than conservatives, but they are, at the root, off their rockers, and they are not capable of caring for themselves. They are extremely dependent. So, we have two groups within society. We have the calm, law-abiding, dependent conservatives, and then we have the loud, bold, wild leftists. And neither one is capable of survival on their own. So, neither one is capable of running a strong civilization. So, if neither party in one country is survivable, then what next? Well, that's when the third party comes into view. And the third party is usually an outside conqueror. And in this case, it would likely be someone who's stronger than the two unfit groups warring within the country. And in this case, we're looking at China, probably. Maybe Russia. Somebody who is stronger, that does have a strong, tough society, will come in and take over. And that is the way it has been throughout history, so we should not expect anything new. And I said if you read the Bible or read history books, you will see that the civilization, before it collapsed, fell into all kind of sexual promiscuity and called all kinds of false gods. And we just didn't think we'd see that happen in modern society. We thought we were immune to that we had conquered stupidity and ignorance. But apparently, stupidity and ignorance with human beings just gets a new name. Just slap a new label on it. It's the same old stuff from the beginning of time. So that's the condition of human beings. Because you got one side's conservatives are weak as water, and lefties are crazy as cats. And neither one is going to be able to put up a strong front against a third-party foreign power. So, this is the dilemma we find ourselves in. And I guess we just sort of have to wait to see how this plays out. Because, there are a lot of people doing a lot of different things. Secession doesn't necessarily seem to be the best answer. Because people want their stuff, their land, So I don't know if we're going to get secession, but it may take longer. Because of course we don't have long to save the country. But the Antifa and the BLM riots and everything, they are not America's problem, or the West's problem, as much as you think. They are a symptom of the internal rot, the social and cultural rot that has been festering and festering for decades. We need to lead by example. We need to have strong convictions as conservatives. We need to be tough. We need to get back to our faith in God. We need revival, because right now we don't seem to believe in anything, and everything the left believes is crazy and ever-changing. So that's not a good recipe. But anyway, I think there is hope. There do seem to be groups of people and individuals across the country standing up, starting, organizations. Use what freedom you have to combat the cultural decay. And if we all work together, freedom is a collective effort, because we can't do it all by ourselves. We need to work together to preserve freedom and make a better world for tomorrow. So even though neither of the groups are particularly fit right now, we need to get up off our couch and get out there and get fit. Exercise our freedom. Exercise, exercise, exercise. And become a strong nation and a strong, united West for freedom once again. And we have to have God on our side. We've got to apologize and ask Him to forgive us and say, please take us back. We can't do it without God's help. All right. Get out and exercise your freedom, folks. You take care. God bless. And let freedom ring.